when you walk by, I hit you with sexy eyes. You look through me as if I wasn't right. Oh no, you didn't just walk on through. It's time.
Hey guys, welcome to the Dragon's Lair workshop. It is Monday the 11th. I got my latest vlog up and running, so haven't checked to see if anyone's watched it yet. Probably not. But anyway, in the last vlog I ran you over. I was working on two projects, one of which was the speakers there, which I have finished. I'm just letting them cure a little bit more before I go put them up in storage. Finished those last night, and then immediately turned around and started gluing foam to the 2x4s. Been like that since last night. I haven't opened it up yet to see how it was, how everything held together yet. And I'm going to do that here in just a sec. Originally, I picked up a quart can of that Gling Gripper just to try it out. It works so good. I went down. When I was gluing yesterday, that I got that done. I still have 7 more. I ran out. I couldn't get them all done with the first set of skins on them. So I went down and bought a couple of more gallons today. But this week's project is basically going to be on the skinning the 2x4s there, and then maybe getting some of the carving done on them. This is probably going to be a couple of week project, so instead of filming the whole thing and then uploading it and catching hell, I'm going to I'll do you a weekly vlog. You know, I'll give you another shot. I'll upload what I have next Monday. See how far we get. But let's take the weights and stuff off of those and see how those turned out there. Here we go. We got the weights off, and from the couple on the top that I've checked, it looks like that foam is stuck on there nice and good. So in the last vlog I did a little test with the Gling Gripper, gluing the foam to some particle board. I have now glued Gling Gripper, using Gling Gripper foam to plywood, and it works. What I ended up doing with this, as you notice, I've got some masking tape down the line on these. I put a coat of Gling Gripper on the 2x4 and another coat on the foam. Put the foam on, lined it up into place, and then I put some masking tape on to hold the foam into place. Put them over here on the table, then put my weights on there and just kept, stacking them up every so often. And then I let them sit overnight. Let's see, this piece here I did about 9:30 last night, so it's dried overnight. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon now. I've been out running errands all morning. But as you can see, it looks like it held pretty good. The only curious one I've got is right that piece here is a little loose right there, but that's easy enough to fix. I can put some Gling Gripper in there and retape it down. It didn't have any weight on that end of it, so it didn't stick really good. But other than that, everything else seemed to stick pretty good. So I think that's a good go. So the Gling Gripper works. Now my next step is I've got 7 more down there. I've got to get to this stage here. So I'm going to do that next. And then once those are done, I'll flip them on the side and I'll start adhering the pieces that go on here on both sides. And then I can start laying them out and setting them up for carving. Hey y'all, getting ready to start another step here real quick. I got all my panels up, so all my pillars now look like this. They have 2 pieces of foam on them. I'm getting ready. I gotta start putting the foam here. Flip this over. I gotta put a piece of foam here and a piece of foam here. Problem I've got, and it's a problem I did on purpose, and it's not really a problem, is when I cut my foam for these, I cut them just a tad bigger than what they needed. And I did that on purpose for the simple fact is of on a 2x4, they can vary in size or thickness or width 1/16 of an inch up to an 1/8 of an inch difference. Yeah, and it's really hard to tell. So I cut everything about an 1/8 of an inch bigger than it actually needed to be to take into account for that. Now the problem that does cause is when I get ready to skin this other side, and this piece here will be glued on there like that, is I may end up with some hollows and some gaps in here on the 2x4. You know, the foam will meet up on the edges here, but it won't contact the wood because it's slightly oversized. So what I'm going to have to do is, with all the ones I've gotten done, including those underneath the weights and those on weights over there, is I've got to go through, first off, remove the tape. I don't want to leave the tape on here. That could cause it to pop loose. Then I'm going to take a sander over and smooth these out so they're the same exact thickness as that 2x4. And then once I got all the pillars to that stage, I can come back through with some more of the Glen Gripper, apply it to this surface, apply it to the foam, and just repeat the process. Start sticking the foam to the thing and let it dry overnight. So that's the stage I'm at now. I'm going through this one I've already done. I've gone through and done a light sanding on it just to shrink the foam down so it's the exact same level as the 2x4. Now I've got 24 more to do. Okay, here we go again. Hold it here. Why do I always start out the segments with, okay, here we go. Okay, there's another one. Okay. I say okay way too much. I gotta stop doing that. But anyway, another day, another dollar. Got down last night and we got all the pillars cleaned up. I did the sides so they're level across here, and I cleaned up the ends of the pillars as well. So those are all level. Next job now is to basically repeat the process with putting the Glen Gripper on here and then attaching that to it. And I gotta do, of course, both sides. But that's the project. I'm gonna need to get these all glued up today underneath the presses so they dry. But got all 25 cleaned up and ready to go. Okay, another day, another dollar, and I started this segment out with okay again. Shit. Okay, yesterday I got more of the pillars glued up so they have foam on all four sides now. Today's project, I've got to go through and break them all. I was going to say break them all loose, but what I'm referring to is the masking tape. I got to get the masking tape off of all of them. Go through, do some light sanding on the sides because there is a little bit of a lip there. And I've got to clean up the ends too because the foam sticks out over the ends. So I got to level that off. One thing I am noticing is there is a slight seam here. It's worse on others and stuff. So after I get them sanded, I went down and bought a bunch of window and door silicone caulking, and I'll put that in all the seams, set them to dry. I can sand it a little bit, clean it up. I've used the silicone caulking before on other foam projects and it works out great. You can carve it. You have to be a little careful when you're carving it, but it can be carved after it sets up and stuff. So that's my project today, is doing some light sanding and getting as many seams caulked as I can today. Hello people, another day, another dollar. For once I didn't start out with okay. What do you know? Got out here yesterday, took everything out of their off the press I had them set up on for drying, and I got 9 pillars done all together. I went through, sanded off the ends so they sit a little bit more level now, sanded down the joints a little bit on them and caulked them, and that was about as far as I got. I had errands to do. We had SOP last night, so I didn't get as far as I planned. Came out today, spent about 4.5 hours, got all the rest done. So those are in the same shape as those. The only difference is these have dried overnight. Those are still kind of tacky, so I won't be able to do anything with them until tomorrow at the earliest, which is fine. Did want to kind of show you this next thing here, and we'll go over here like this. That way you get a better angle at it. That is the pillars, roughly. I got a little bit of a skirting down below. Got a nice little cap up on top, and then a nice long shank. And yeah, no, I didn't glue anything on. They're just kind of sitting there. I wanted to get a better look at them. Right now, my next step on these, I still need to laminate the cap onto the tip. The skirting down below still needs to be attached. I'm sitting there loosely right now. I had originally planned on the pillars here, on this portion of the pillar, running from the top of the skirting up to the bottom of the cap. I was going to do a brick pattern and make it look like a brick pillar. And I got to looking at it. Bricks are not going to work. It's not wide enough to do a brick, you know, so I'd end up having half bricks, you know, all the way around. And that just didn't seem right to me. So I'm changing things up. And I think what I'm going to do, you know, my wife suggested, well, why not just do some plaster, you know, with a brick cutouts and stuff, or just do plaster with cracks, you know, in it. And I got to thinking, a lot of you guys have done these pillars, and a lot of you kind of stick to that thing, plaster, and, you know, I don't want to do something that someone else has already done, you know. I want to do something a little bit more original. So what I got to thinking about doing is field stone. You know, from the top of the skirting up to the cap, you know, you just get some circles out. You know, do a border of circles and fill it in with odd size circles and stuff, you know, down through the center, all the way around. You know, and then cut them out, you know, for the grout lines between the stones and stuff, like maybe wrapping them around the corners a little bit, you know, what have you. And just do that, and do field stone for that. But, you know, so that's what I think, that's what I'm thinking I'm going to end up doing is field stone on that. Thing is, with this, it's going to take, I got 25 pillars to do, 4 sides to a pillar, so that's 100 sides I've got to carve all together. You know, so it's going to take a couple of days to do it, you know. And then, you know, like I said, I'm going to carve it from the cap down here to the top of where the skirting is. And then after it's all carved, I'll come back in and I'll laminate the skirting onto the board. You know, do the same thing I did with this here, you know, with the caulking and what have you on it. And then I've got something I'm going to be doing with those too, so. And then the cap's going to end up getting a little bit carved and a little bit more detailed on it as well, you know, when I get to the point where I'm putting those on. You know, so I have a feeling this project's probably going to take a couple of weeks. It's not going to be a quick, easy thing. And I haven't just been working on the pillars either. I've got some other stuff outside I've been doing. You know, like when we took down the haunt, all the lumber I used to do the water pits for my cesspool room, we took them out of the haunt. They've been stacked up all winter out on our driveway. I got, you know, those cleaned, got the screws pulled out of them. Got them cleaned up, got them put away. And, you know, I had other miscellaneous stuff just strewn either down the driveway, on the patio. You know, the piles of my partition walls I used. You know, I just kind of put them out there and forgot about them, you know, for over the winter. And actually got out there and got those cleaned up. You know, so I've been working, you know, on this stuff here. You know, I start the day out working with this, and when I get to a point where they need to sit and dry, then I go out and I do other things. So, you know, I haven't been working just on this. I've been doing a lot of little projects, and I still got a lot of little projects to do. But I wanted to show you what I ended up doing yesterday. And I know I'm making some noise. I got started yesterday evening laying out my pattern. And as you can see, it's just a bunch of circles. And now I'm going to take my Dremel and I'll trace out around the lines around them, and then these dead spots here will get carved out too, and I'll probably end up doing the corners as well, so I'll give it more of a rounded look. The one side with the seams has that pattern, the narrow side without the seams has that pattern. Doesn't look much like fieldstone, I know. But it's different from what I've seen other people do, and that's all that matters. I really wasn't going for the fieldstone look. It's just I wanted to do something different. Last night took me about an hour and a half to get that pattern on all four sides on 2 pillars. It takes about half hour to, I want to say 45 minutes to do one pole to get all the pattern onto them. I do it all by hand. I do it the hard way. Real good at doing things the hard way, it appears. What I am doing differently is normally when I do my foam carving and I have something intensive like this, like my wall panels were, I'd come in, I'd do the pattern on one on one panel, in this case one post, get my Dremel out and carve it and be done. This time, I'm not doing that. I'm a glutton for punishment. I'm going to sit down and get all 25 pillars to this point right here. Then I'll come back and I'll get all that section carved. This is going to take a couple of days. It's going to take at least 1 to maybe 2 days just to get the pattern laid out on all 25 pillars. And then it's going to take a day or two to get them all carved, more than likely. So, I don't know. Depending on how fast the carving goes, I might be able to get them all done in one day, if I stop doing everything else and just worked on these. So, but I've got a lot of other projects I couldn't do because of Halloween, stuff that needed to get done, and then winter set in, and so they've been sitting all winter, and we've actually got some nice weather now, so I've been trying to take advantage of it, and during the day spending more time outside putzing around the yard and the house doing maintenance type stuff. Been a while since I've done a few of these, but I figure I better do it because my email box is getting a little full. So, just a handful of subscribers shout outs here. Wicked Price Haunt, Letzilia Sino, Barb Joe's 63, Mementadira. I know I butchered that one. My apologies, folks. Oddog 331, Haunted House 1408, Greg Packard, Boo You 6470, untie my tongue here. Digital Magnolia Media 1. God, that's a mouthful. Roadkill 517, Fall Apart 71, the one and only Terran, Jason Walker, Dato HF, Rainia Pete, that's a familiar name, Haunter's Talk Mayhem fame, welcome to the channel, Scary Sister Sarah, and a new user. All of you, welcome to the channel. Hope you're enjoying what you're seeing. I look forward to communicating with you one way or the other. So, that's it. Let's bring this vlog to a close, people. Stay scary out there.